of your lordship in Suresh Mahajan, which says that when you're this is dealing with Madhya Pradesh, but saying that when you're dealing with election, this should not detain you. Para 11 of this judgment. In any case, para 11. In any case, the ongoing activity of delimitation or formation of ward cannot be legitimate ground to be set forward by any authority, much less the State Election Commission should not discharge its constitutional obligation in notifying the election program at the opportune time and to ensure that the elected body is installed before the expiring 5 years term of the outgoing elected body. If there is need to undertake delimitation, which indeed is a continuous exercise to be undertaken by the authority concerned, it ought to be commenced well in advance to ensure that the elections of the local body concerned are notified in time, so that the elected body would be able to take over the reins of the administration without any disruption and continuity of governance, thereby upholding the tenet of the government of the people, by the people, for the people. In other words, the amendment effective to the stated enactments cannot be reckoned as a legitimate ground for protracting the issue of election program of the local bodies concerned. Therefore, we direct the SEC by way of interim order to issue election program without any further delay, which is what I'm adopting here as well. On the basis of the wards, as per the limitation done in local bodies concerned, when the elections have become due, consequent to expiry of 5 years term of the outgoing elected body, or before coming to force of the Impute Amendment Act, whichever is later. On that notional basis, the SEC ought to proceed without any exception with respect to local bodies concerned, where elections are due or likely to be due in the near future, without waiting even for the compliance of triple test by the state government for providing reservation to OBC. We have no manner of doubt that only such election would meet the ends of justice and larger public interest consistent with the constitutional mandate that the local self-government must be governed by the duly elected representative uninterrupted except in case of its dissolution before expiry of the term on permissible grounds. Now, the elections were held in 2016 on the basis of a delimitation which took place in 2014. Elections were conducted on the basis of 2014 delimitation. Now, that delimitation has formed the basis of only one election, only the 2016 election. 2021, when it fell due, elections were not held. The 5 year terms ended, and caretakers were appointed. As a result of which, the democratic functioning which this court refers to has come to a standstill. Now, from 21 onwards, repeated petitions have been filed for these 587 village committees. Tentative schedules were solicited and given. If your lordship sees page 109, 108 and 109 of the main writ petition paper, the High Court notes in its order of 13th July 2022, which is what this is a part of, and it starts at page 102. I'm just taking your lordship immediately to the relevant part because compliance was sought. And an affidavit has been filed, bottom of page 107, top of 108. Yes, Malojat Malona. Yes, main writ petition paper book, page 108. Yes. This is taken from their affidavit. Full table is laid out. As long ago in July 2022. At that time, there's no problem of delimitation, etc. They say they need 137 days from then to finalize the rolls, etc. Rolls have been finalized today. So that is not a reason for any further detention. Paragraph 7.
So tell us one.
Yes.
Now the DC elections have been held. So their term is also come to an end in April.
Yes.
So why can't the village as well as the state club be held simultaneously?
Not sure. The only question is with reference to that. There may be other
both be held simultaneously.
yes. Simultaneous for cost cutting, I think, would be fair.
April.
But the only problem is that for conducting that, now you're pushing the envelope once again for the district committee because that will fall vacant only after 2 or 3 months.
No, April. Anyway, today November notification will take some time.
It will take some time.
So April, I think, so this is why you take instructions.
I will take
It's actually this like
Lordship, yes, that's 2 weeks time. I'm requesting. If your lordship can record that.
no, let him take instructions.
Yes.
I think
No,
that
no,
will
but
save time, cost, and
yes,
everything.
I'll come back to your lordship. We'll come back to your lordship. All in 2 weeks time only to file this affidavit. Lordship may keep it just immediately after Holi reopening. We are looking on the 9th of March. Any date.
But what about the judgment which has been cited? That
Yes.
the limitation exercise cannot defer the holding of election. What do you say on that?
There is
That is the ground which you have taken.
if I may not take my friend was reading the judgment, Lordship may kindly come to page 116. In the writ petition, my friend was just now reading the judgment. Kindly come to page 116, para 19, at the foot of the page. Undisputably, the term of the previously elected village committees have come to an end on 2 and as such, election is overdue. As per affidavit submitted by the State Election Commission, election cannot be held on the basis of election rules of 2015 because the TTDC election held in 2021, total number of enrolled voters came to 8,64,500, whereas it was only 7,68,000 in 2016. Therefore, about 1 lakh voters will have to be included by way of revision of the electoral rolls. Moreover, about 21,000 people of Group community have migrated from Mizoram and settled in Tripura. The inclusion of the eligible voters of this community in the electoral roll is also necessary for holding the village committee election. Plea of the State Election Commission is not totally devoid of merit. In fact, the State Election Commission, which will conduct the election after a fair and complete assessment of the situation and ensure that no eligible voter is denied of the right to franchise, and they are in a position to exercise their franchise in a free and fair manner, unhindered by any pandemic or any other hostile circumstance. At the same time, we cannot be oblivious of the fact that the election of the village committee is long overdue and timely election, even in local bodies, is a basic feature of democracy. Then there is a judgment quoted below. And then your option is
Now you're going to have elections in April with regard to the tribal
the district council
So if the district council
and the village panchayat is what called a village committee, what the lordships are putting to do.
for the district committee, you're willing to go ahead with the election in April.
Yes, that
So therefore the electoral rules are updated. So this cannot be a ground.
the electoral roll preparation is not in my hand. No, but the electoral roll is final. There's no dispute on that. They placed it because this has been withdrawn now without.
So therefore the problem is now
So therefore, I need to take exceptions to that. I'm only taking
Assuming what you have pointed out from the judgment.
Yes.
In the 2022
Judgment. So thereafter,
now we are in 2020.
No, I know, I found out. So thereafter, the High Court said in this very judgment that we can't press it. We are in para 23, though we are not proposing any rigid timeline for the purpose. Keeping in view the SEC's affidavit and the material there, we would express so and so and state facility to notify the date of election. Thereafter, in the contempt matter below, at page number 124, that order starts below, at page number 120. The division bench is 2024 below. Paragraph 6. Learned senior counsel for so and so also submitted a scrutiny committee and after examination of the different provisions of the Act and rules decided to treat the general election 2024 as the third general election. The delimitation of constituencies were done in 2015 for all the 587 villages compared shall again be kept same as no local limits of the village committee as well as constituencies are changed in consonance with the provisions of such and such rules, but changes in rotation of reservation of women from the even number seat in 2016 to odd number seat in the office of the member, as well as the office of the chairman, chairpersons, including reserved seat, as the case may be, or unreserved category, will have to be done by someone. But that is my friend, you have to ask me. Further details of the rotation of reservation in the conduct of election to village committee and the rules of 94 and issuance of notification for delimitation of constituencies in Form A1 and B1 under Rule 5 of each village committee, afresh keeping the same information in Form A1 and B1 as was done in 2015 have to be issued by the sub-divisional magistrate in terms of notification of 24. He submits that 1 and 2 representing the State Election Commission are duty bound to hold the election as per schedule proposed herein above. The TTDC has also undertaken to issue the relevant notification calling upon the electorate to constitute village committees in the entire state in terms of such consent. That is, Council of Petitioner submit. If the Commission is ready to conduct the election of the Panchayat bodies in the state of and by July, August, they may be directed to simultaneously conduct election through the village committee. However, we do not agree with this submission, as the state election commission has its resources to conduct elections to various bodies as a statutory obligation. They are best suited to lay down the schedule of elections depending upon the resources which are required to be applied. As such, we agree to the schedule proposed for election of village committee by the respondent 1 and 2. We hope and trust
Which is
respondent.
the top apex body in this hierarchy?
The council, which is under the sixth schedule of the constitution.
So this.
That council is under the sixth schedule of the constitution. And thereafter, there are.
Under this, there would be village committee.
Yes, so there are 1979 rules.
And election to the members of this council,
Yes.
TTADC,
Yes.
is from those representing the village committee or independent?
No. So therefore,
Then simultaneously both can be.
so therefore, Lordship will give me 2 weeks time. I'll take proper instructions to not file a proper affidavit, and the Lordship put it to me, and have it on the 9th of March when the court reopens, or the 10th March, whichever is convenient. There's no problem here. I'm only humbly making because this happened just the withdrawal of the 123 village committees because got to be added. Thereafter, so there are things are to do. I have a suggestion that it should be this kind of location because 18th April is when that district council comes to an end. So you have to have the new body in place right there, which is why it gets pushed into the middle of March. After which you have to notify, have the elections, and then there will be still 6 weeks from 9th of March to 18th of April. So therefore,
Why
too
cut
tight.
it too fine?
No.
Why not have it in the last week of
Last
February?
week, somebody else will appear, then I have some different thing. I'm so sorry to say this, but I'm sure they will engage somebody. There's no problem. But should I keep it in the last week of March? Because I don't want to come in the way for this. At all.
It has been wanted out.
But give any date. No problem.
126 village committee.
123.
123.
123. Notified earlier.
Not notified again. Not notified again.
To increase the number of villages.
Now 587.
587 to 710.
Now 587 plus 123.
710.
Yeah, that's what they wanted. Now that 120 page 36 is that 123 now goes.
Is that he gets lost.
Yes, this is the state's reply. Page 36. State reply dated 10th February 2020. Lord, it is there in the affidavit of respondent number 5 and of respondent number 2, both. Lordship will have page 47 of the respondent number 5, that is or 36 of state aid.
In the reply affidavit. State of Andhra. As for the second notification, the earlier 3 notifications dated 29 2025. And when the another notification of 29 and 7/4/2025. That will be sent in. The consequence thereof, the 123 new village committees were constituted by reorganizing the existing village committees. Will no longer be required to constitute villages committees.
No, villages.
Villages to be added to the number of villages of five
Village
villages.
requires a village committee. If we have new villages, consequent.
All right, make it. In view of the subsequent development of the state of the final indicate time can complete the exercise of the election. Correct. Was also the state election commission for officer responded around 26 times by an application. Is this we have it on 26th of February.
Not sure.
26th of February.
I thought one suggestion can also come in.
In the affidavit, the affidavit shall also be if the affidavit must also indicate the possibility of holding joint elections.
But contributed simultaneous.
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 Possibility of
Possibility of for the district council and the village
village
council.
council as well as village council.
Yes. That should be. Excuse my absence.
Okay. Just, I'm sorry. Practical fact I want to tell you about it. District council apparently BBM, while these village committees is valid.
What difference does it make?
No, I'm sorry.
If you have another issue,
No, that's sorry. Please don't. Not sure.
I'm going.